Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 61. Happy Tuesday. I almost forgot what day it
Yeah,
was.
it's not. We don't know what that.
We just wanted to give you an update of being parents of cats again. It's going great.
They're about to start chasing each other around the house and make a lot of
Yeah.
noise.
One advantage of our first floor is it goes in a circle, so you can pretty much walk a circle through the dining room, living room, kitchen, family room, and back. So they frequently like to chase each other around that
Is that
circle.
is that a good thing
Yeah,
or a bad thing?
it's a good thing. It is funny because I forgot how playful kittens are, and just how they just like getting into everything. For example, um, Gordon is the one that has more orange and black on her face. Has pretty much stepped on everybody's computer so far. Um,
She laid down on my laptop keyboard today.
yeah, and messes things up.
Messes the whole thing up. Everything was blown up, really big.
And on mine, she literally just walked across it, and the next thing you knew, the display had completely turned upside down. And I was like, I don't even know how to do that. So
Yeah, with mine it was the she also, I don't know how this happened, but made it so that all of the monitors were exactly the same. So I had to go back. First, the size of everything was really big. But that was actually relatively easy to fix. But then trying to figure out, go back and redo all the monitors. Because
and
I've
then
had that set up forever,
oh
so I
yeah,
don't really think about
you
it.
wouldn't think it would be that easy just to have somebody walk across and then mess up your whole system going up. And then we've noticed paw prints on the sinks in the bathroom, so they're climbing around in
The
there.
lid of the
The lid of
toilet
the toilet
seat.
seat.
Nice.
Yeah, so they've pretty much been all over our house. They've spent a lot of time in our basement.
On the countertops.
Yeah. Um, but they're really adjusting, I think, amazingly well. I mean,
Yeah.
they have hung out with all of us at different various times. And for our adult kids that are home, they've loved it because one of them will be in their room or on their lap or something like that. So it is nice to have that kind of comfort to have an animal to take care of. So yeah, they're just amazing. We're just enjoying them so much because it's just so fun to have just baby kittens around.
They are not the calm older cats that we were initially
Yes.
planning to get. Um,
Which is true because I was thinking about that because we had discussed maybe a year and a half, and things, and not expecting that to take 7-month-old home. So that was kind of cute.
well, and the two ones that we got at about 8 months, that was a long time ago, it was back in 2003, but those two were pretty calm,
They were.
even right off the bat. So I wasn't really thinking, I mean, these guys are fine, they're great, but I wasn't really thinking that they would be as easily riled up. And where the other two, when we first got them, hid for a long period of time, these guys, we thought they were hiding. We thought one of them was just hiding in the basement because maybe she was scared or whatever. I think it turns out they just like being in the basement.
Yeah.
Because they'll go down there and they'll come back up and they'll go down, but they just like the basement for some reason. It's not the nicest place to hang out.
It isn't.
And they seem to sleep there overnight, which strikes me as really strange. We have couches, we have a nice cat bed, we have
Right.
all kinds of much more comfortable places and places that are close to the heat. They could be right by a radiator on a couch
in a
or in the
soft
cat
bed.
bed and whatever. They prefer, because when I come down in the morning and feed them, then they come up from the basement. So I just assume they've been there all night.
Yeah.
Or most of the night.
That's so weird.
But they don't seem to mind. They seem pretty happy.
And they're very voracious eaters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've had to. The animal care league that we got them from said that they were giving them wet food morning and afternoon, and
then just dry food all day.
And then just dry food all day, and yeah, they're just going to town. So which is good because I think Waffle didn't eat the first day that
Not
we got her.
much.
So by the second day, I heard the dish kind of scooting across the floor because she was eating it, and it was pushing the bowl around. So it was super cute.
The kids probably wonder why we didn't indulge all of our other cats as much as we indulged these two, though, because the other cats mostly just lived on dry food, and they seem to prefer it. when we would give them wet food, they were just not that interested.
Yeah, and it would just go to waste. So they'd take a few bites and then we'd leave it out and then end up throwing it out. So they were never really wet food eaters.
But these ones, they go ballistic for it. They're like insane, and I don't think our other adult cats ate as much as these two do.
And the other funny thing is, which I forgot about kittens, is they like to put anything in their mouth. So it's kind of like they
And
can
walk
actually take my chapstick, which I have plenty, all over the place,
Oh, really?
and put it. Yeah, I don't know if you know that about me. I have like 15 chapsticks in the house. Taking that, or one came up with from the basement and had like a popcorn, like packing popcorn in her mouth, and she was
Peanuts.
playing peanuts, packing peanuts. Had one in her mouth because I was like, "What are you eating?"
And I don't even know where that came from. I mean, there's got to be a box down there that had stuff in it, and there's still some left in there, but.
And then the cap of a spray bottle, like clean your glasses, they found one of those. And so it was late at night one night, and so they were playing with it. So I took it, put it in my pocket, and then 2 seconds later, they found another one and started playing with that. So they're super playful and fun and just amazing.
But they're not, I mean, they're still a little skittish, even though they don't hide from us. They come out and they go into the kids' rooms and everything like that. But they still kind of are skittish. But they do that weird thing that cats do where if you startle them, they run away. But if you say anything, they stop. Like if you say, hey, it's okay, don't worry. They immediately stop and they turn around and look at you and they're like trying to size up the situation. So I don't know what it is about that. They react to your voice, I guess.
I guess so. So we definitely made the right decision, and we're super lucky that we got to the ones that we did. So we're very excited about that. And then we have a short week this week. We're taking Friday off. We're taking our youngest back to college on Sunday. And for those of you who don't know, most of you probably don't, they're going to have no spring break this semester. So she's just going to be there the whole time. Although hopefully in the springtime we'll be able to maybe run down there and do something, because that's a long time to be in. But this college that she goes to, University of Illinois, has been very proactive about COVID and taking super huge precautions, and every kid is going to be tested twice before school starts, and as soon as the vaccine's available, they'll get it.
And I think all of her classes are online.
They are.
Last semester they were essentially all online, but she took a music recording class. And they had to do some time, they had to meet up in the studio from time to time, a recording studio. But, I mean, other than that, even with that class, all the rest of it was online. All our other classes were online. I think this semester, everything is online.
Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be interesting once all the kids get back. I think because it's still going on and they've still, it's not like things have drastically gotten better since they left in November. I think they're going to still be in the same mode of being safe.
Unfortunately, I mean, actually things have, in a lot of ways, have gotten worse, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, in terms of the number of people, hospitalized and the number of fatalities, it's actually gotten worse. The difference now, I guess, between what's going on now and what happened early on is that it's more spread out through the state. So it's not necessarily just concentrated concentrated in the Chicago area. But that's disconcerting because obviously, that means there's not really any place you can go where you're not affected by it.
I know. And I'm hoping that by once, the vaccines come out and most people get vaccinated, that the rest of her college career, starting next fall, will be kind of like how it would normally should have been, where you're just like don't have to follow so many rules.
Although, one thing that is, I mean, I agree, but one thing that's been weird and disturbing is that on just about every level, they just have not done a particularly good job of getting the vaccines to people. Obviously, they don't have enough doses to just go out and inoculate everybody, but even the doses they have, percentage-wise, there's states that have only, and I don't think Illinois has really done, as a state, has done all that well. There are states where, they've only used half of the doses they have or maybe less, so that's not great.
No.
I mean, obviously, they're trying to identify the people most in need and all that, and that's great. I mean, you certainly, I think, want the most vulnerable people vaccinated first, but ultimately, you have to have just about anybody who can take the vaccine, provided there isn't some, we don't find out that there are problems with it, but
Right.
as long as it's for the most part safe, you want to have as many people take it as possible because that will help more than anything else cut down on the spread.
Yeah.
And then that will also protect people with compromised immune systems, people who can't take the vaccine for one reason or another. So,
And I actually read somewhere where companies are like wanting to give incentives to employees to get the vaccine, which I don't
yeah.
know if that's going to be a thing.
But I mean, I think that's only going to be effective when it's more widely available. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, I'm no expert, but it strikes me that, they are prioritizing who gets it, but clearly, in my view, the people who are the most at risk are the ones who need it first.
Definitely.
Elderly and people who have specific health issues. If somebody's going through, chemotherapy right now or something like that, they're going to be much more vulnerable than not that we're at some risk, but I mean,
Right.
we're by and large too. Not that so you got to protect the people who are most in need first, I think. But and obviously, they're trying to get to healthcare workers and things like that too. I mean, but that's designed to cut down on the spread as well because,
Right.
Obviously that's a particularly difficult location to be in if you're working in a hospital because people come in with COVID and then there's other patients who have other, things.
Right.
But I don't know. I think it's still going to be a while before we really get to the point where we all have an opportunity to get it.
And we were definitely nervous having her go down in the fall, just because we didn't really know what to expect. And I think I'm still going into it in the spring with kind of the same kind of trepidation,
Yeah.
of just hoping that she stays safe, for the spring semester.
Right. I think it's a different kind of concern. I mean, it's just maybe the same level of anxiety, but for different reasons. In the fall, we just, we'd all been at home since March and we didn't know what it was going to be like. And they did a very good job of making sure everybody got tested and kind of enforcing the rules and all that. Now we're comfortable with the protocols that they have in place, but the cases have really spiked they were already going up around the time she came home, but then after Thanksgiving, unfortunately they were going up. You can likely see increases after Christmas. So, it's like we trust the system, but the risk is a little greater now than it was back then.
Lucky for her, she really likes to follow the rules. So she's always anytime when we called her, even if she was just walking outside to talk to us on a FaceTime, she always had her mask on and stuff like that. So, and they are still wanting kids not to go into other kids' dorm rooms or dorms. So you need to kind of stay with your within your dorm group. But she loves her friends and is having a good time. So, and I think that is a little bit takes a little bit off too because going to school in the fall with COVID, not first time in college, that's now she's at least got some of that under her belt, so she knows what to expect and the workload and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I think she's going to do amazing. But yeah, it'll be.
No, I think she'll do fine. I'm just, I think there's always going to be anxiety, and I don't think the other thing that about COVID is that it's not going to be that like a switch that turns off one day. So it's not going to be like you get to, May 31st or
Right.
September 30th or whatever, and then all of a sudden everything is fine. I mean, it's going to hopefully peter out, but that process is going to take a while. And, there's still some risk even as the numbers decline, but the sooner you can get to the point of the numbers declining, the better.
And we get to be coworkers for a lot longer, which is amazing.
It is.
Although once Claire goes back to school, I will resume my office in her bedroom.
But it is an interesting thing since this is the first week. We've all been under the same roof. We've been working, and you and I have been working relatively nearby,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the two cats.
Yes.
So that's an added thing, because our old cat was very low key.
Super low
He
key.
would be around during the day, but he would largely just sleep on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
usually back in the family room, or he'd go up in one of the kids' room. He didn't do a whole lot other than
No.
occasionally out of the blue he'd like come down from, if he'd been upstairs, he'd come down and sit in the living room and demand attention. That was always weird.
Yeah,
because
but he
you didn't
wasn't
know what
like-
the heck he wanted. But so this is an interesting thing.
It is.
With these two very active cats. I had a meeting where I was not on camera and had my microphone muted. But one of the cats just came up and just decided that she wanted to be all over the desk. So I picked her up, and that was cool because she sat on my lap for a while. But she's like sitting there like she's in the meeting watching the screen.
Yeah. Like, I'm part of this.
She also, like Smokey, very much likes yogurt.
Yes.
So when I open the yogurt in the morning, she comes running and cries really loud.
Right.
Really like piercing cry.
And kind of like in like a tiny kitten kind of cry too, so it's like very cute too.
Yeah, it's not loud because she, they're still pretty small, but it's like that piercing, like the moil on Seinfeld. Is baby gonna make that high
pitched
piercing? And one other thing about the cats, which we gave them a few days to acclimate, but they're not thrilled with guitar playing. I tried that last night just to see, and it spooked them a little bit.
Well, I think the more that we do things that's going to be like a regular thing, I think it's just they'll get used to it and then be fine with it.
They don't have much of a choice as far as that goes.
And just to...
But I waited a few days, though,
before
trying that out.
And the reason why we named them the name, we explained it a little bit, but there was a cartoon called Cat Scratch, and two of the characters who played cats was named Waffle and Gordon, so that's how we got their names. So.
I think I found, I'll have to look for it, but I think I found a screenshot from the show. But the problem is I didn't say
it was only on for one season, and it was on Nickelodeon, so it was a long time ago.
But the kids liked it, and it was, oh yeah, here we go. We'll have to throw that up there.
We will.
It's Waffle and Gordon.
Nice.
Although I just noticed, oh no, that's never mind.
So that we just want to kind of give you an update of our life so far with cats this week.
I'm a little disappointed they didn't come and jump up on the table.
I
Because
know.
they've done that the last time on Saturday, Gordon was hanging out with us. I tried to pick her up. She didn't like that too much. Then I was talking to some of my siblings over the weekend, and the other guy, Waffle, came up and walked in front of the camera and walked around and walked back in front.
Yeah, I think they're playing with the kids right now, so they're busy. So
We don't
left.
rank.
Yeah, not until like later when they're
They'll hang out with us.
yeah. So anyway, so hope your week is going well, and we will definitely be back on Thursday. And have a great rest of the night. Talk to you later.